You only get, well, the men's perspective, isn't it? It's the men's perspective. The Crown Ends All by Bea Fitzgerald. This is definitely one of those mythology retellings that leads more into the emotional and drama of it all. This story is rooted in Greek mythology, but it really focuses on the relationships. Like love, betrayal, power, all of that. It's very character driven, not very plot heavy. So this tells the story from Cassandra's point of view of the Trojan War and what all of that entails. And I will say the writing is almost lyrical with a slightly dramatic tone that really fits this mythological vibe. It makes everything feel bigger and more intense, which I feel works really well for this kind of story. Compared to other retellings, this feels more emotional and romantic rather than strained and reflective that they usually tend to be. Also, because of that, it can feel a bit heavy at times. Like the emotions are very much present, like all the time. And if you're not fully invested, that can feel a bit too much. That being said though, if you are invested in the emotional roller coaster ride that is exactly what makes this book, this story work. The stakes feel personal, the relationship feels intense, and it leans into that tragic, almost inevitable feeling that mythology does so well. So overall, this is a very strong emotional retelling that really commits to this tone. So if you like mythology retellings that are a bit more dramatic, romantic, and character focused, you will probably really enjoy this one. Yes. Hera by Jennifer Saint, who has quickly become one of my favorite go-to authors. Still didn't sound right. Anyway, she's quickly become one of my favorites. But let's talk about Hera. So Hera is such an interesting addition to especially Jennifer Saint's whole mythology retellings collection, I guess. Also, Hera isn't necessarily one of the gods that you actually hear a lot about. This is entirely from Hera's perspective. So seeing things from her point of view definitely changed my mind about Hera. Hera hasn't exactly been one of my faves, as it were, because you only get, well, the men's perspective, isn't it? It's the men's perspective. Sorry, men, but yeah. So, like I said, it's entirely from Hera's point of view, and seeing everything from her point of view, you definitely get a new sense of her, because you think you know her. You think you know her as the jealous wife, the vicious queen god. Is that what she is? Basically, she's the villain. She's always the villain in any Greek myth retellings, or just anything Greek myth thing. She's always the villain in one way, shape, or form. Sometimes some less, but still, usually just villain. And I do think that's because it's everyone else's story. So from everyone else's point of view, yes, Hera may seem to be the villain. Now everything's reframed. Now we're seeing it from Hera's point of view, and we're like, well, hang on a minute. Hang on. Because you're seeing it from her point of view, you start seeing her less as the antagonist and more of the woman who had to kind of make her own way in a very man-heavy world. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. She's kind of forced to navigate this very harsh system that she's kind of trapped in. It wasn't her choice, but she's just in the middle of it and just trying to make her own way, really. So if I compare this one to some of her other books, Jennifer Saint's books, like Ariadne and Electra, this feels a bit more controlled, maybe a little less emotional on the surface, but it's more focused on power, status, and what it means to hold on to control when you don't actually have a lot of it. I will say though, it's not super action heavy. It's definitely more character driven and reflective. So if you're expecting a lot of drama and big moments, definitely might feel a bit slower. I actually think this works very well for Hera for this book. It makes it more calculated, more restrained. Honestly, a lot more understandable. So overall, I think this is solid retelling, especially if you like seeing the villainized women get more depth. Didn't completely blow me away, but it definitely made me see Hera in a new way. And I think that's kind of the point. So yes, very, very good. Very good. Yes. A Beautiful Evil by Bea Fitzgerald. So if you've read The Crown Ends All, this definitely feels like it's in the same emotional, dramatic lane, but maybe a bit darker. It's almost like it has the same kind of feels like Girl Goddess Queen did. This is again another myth-inspired book. This is Pandora's story this time. This one really leans into relationships like love, obsession, power, and that kind of blurred line between devotion and destruction. And I will say this one feels more intense. Emotions are stronger, the dynamics are messier, and it really commits to that slightly toxic, tragic vibe. The writing though is still very lyrical, very atmospheric, which works really well. But it also makes everything feel heightened, like every emotion is turned all the way up. Compared to The Crown Ends All, I think this one feels a bit more sharper and more focused, but it's also a lot heavier. Like, it's not really a light read emotionally. So if you like that dramatic, romantic, slightly heartbreaking tone, you'll probably enjoy this one even more. But if you're not into intense, messy relationship, this one might feel like a lot. So overall, it's a very emotional, dramatic retelling that leans into those darker themes, and it does it well. It does it so well. Mwah, chef's kiss. Yes.